BISP Solutions. I am PT working as Oracle Fusion Functional Consultant. So in the last session of our webinar, we have discussed how to configure the AP configuration. So these are the configurations that we have done in the application. We have created the location for business unit, then we have created the business unit reference data set, then we have assigned the business unit function to that business unit. Then we have seen how to create the legislative data group and how to assign the legislative data group to legal entity. Then we have seen how to create the employee user and what are the roles that you have to provide to the user so that he can perform the task related to AP module. Then we have seen how to provide the data access to user. So today we will discuss the rest of the setups that we are required to configure in the application for the accounts payable module. So these are the topics for today that we will cover. So we will start with the common options for payable and procurement. So let's move to our application. Here go to the setup and maintenance. And under the setup area you have to select here as financials, and under the functional area you have to select payables module. Now here you can see that manage common options for payables and procurement. This is the task. Under the scope you have to select your business unit. As I told you in the first session that AP module is the module that works on the business unit level. So under the scope you have to select your business unit. Select this business unit, then scroll down and then click on save and close. Let's create one user for this business unit as data got refreshed. Go to initial users and then search for manage users. Click on add icon. So we are creating the new user and now we will give the roles to this user which are related to the accounts payable module, and we will give the data access for our business unit. Then only this user will be able to perform the payable module task for our business unit. Here you have to mention the user name. In the person type, I am taking this user as employee user. Select the business unit here. click on save and close. Let's create the user with different name. So we have filled the mandate fields. Now click on save and close. Okay, so we have to make the element for Indian LDG as I told you in the earlier session. Go to setup and maintenance. Then under the setup area you have to select compensation management and search for manage elements task here. Click on this elements task and then search for your legislative data group. This is the one that we have created, and search for the element name. So this was the error that was coming. Click on this element. Now click on edit icon. Select this element eligibility, then go to actions and then click on create element eligibility. Give the element eligibility name here. Link your legal entity that you have created for Indian location. You have to do this for only Indian location. For rest of the location you won't be facing this error. Now click on done. Now again move back to the page of the task manage user. Change the setup area as financial here and search here for the task that is manage user. Select the person type as employee. click on save and close. So now the application has successfully accepted the user that we have created. Now our next step is we have to provide the accounts payable role to this user. For that, go to security console. Click on users tab. Search for the user that we have created. Click on edit icon and click on add role. So we have already discussed these roles in the previous session. So we have provided the accounts payable related roles to this user, and now click on save and close. Click on done, and now we have to provide the data access to this user for these roles at business unit level. For that, go to setup and maintenance page, and from there you have to go to the task, that is manage data access for users. Click on this task. Click on this add icon. Search for the username that we have created now. Select the role here. Here you can see the roles that we have provided to this user. Select your business unit. save and close, then click on done. Now go to the schedule process. From there we have to submit one process, that is LTAB, where these rows will be synced to this user. Go to schedule processes. This is the process that we have to submit. Click on OK. Now in the background this process will run. Let's move back to the page, that is security console, and we have to change the password for the user. Click on reset password. We will log in with this Pete02. Go to the home page. Now I can see here the Payables tab is available because we have provided this user only the roles which are related to the Payables module. Therefore you are not able to see any of the other options here. Now go to the setup and maintenance. We have to provide the implementation rules as well to this user. again you have to run the LDEP job. You can see here, now this user also can have access to this setup and maintenance page. Click on this. Under the setup area you have to select as financials and then go to the payables. Then under the scope select the business unit. Can see here, now system has given the access to this user for managing the common option for payable and procurement for this BU, because we have given the access to this user at this BU level. Now here you have to select the common accounting distribution for liability, prepayments, if there are any conversion rate, variance gain, variance loss, discount. So here you have to provide the common accounting distribution. Let's search for the liability accounting combination. This is the accounts for the accounts payable. Let's take cost center as none. In the intercompany we will take 01 India. In the resources also I am taking none. Click on OK. So we need the distribution same, only the account we will make change in. In the account we have to take the account which is available for prepayment, that is advance. Let's search with the description. Click on OK. Now search for the account which is available for rate variance gain. select the automatic offset account from where you want to have automatic offset, whether from the primary balancing segment, all segments except natural segments, or none. You will fill out these details as per your client requirement. Now here also you can select the liability account for one-time payments. If you are making payment only one time, in that case also you can select the liability account. At the time of payment, it will ask you the frequency of the payment, and when you will select the option as one-time payment, the system will automatically take the accounting distribution for liability from your common options. Same goes with the expenses, and here you have to mention the realized gain, distribution, loss. Let's select the account for realized gain distribution. Here we have to search for the account which is available for realized loss distribution. So we have filled out all the mandatory information. Now click on save and close. Our next task is manage invoice option. So the options which are related to invoice, you can select the options as per the client requirement. Under the scope, you have to select the business unit for which you have access to. Now in the invoice entry, you can select the options that you can see on the screen. Require invoice grouping, allow document category override, allow adjustment to paid invoice, allow remit to supplier override for third party payments. So these are the options that you can select as per your client requirement. What should be the invoice currency, payment currency. In the payment term, you can select immediate or any or other payment term. So when you will create the invoice, by default whatever the payment term that you are selecting here will be displayed on your screen in your invoice. If you are taking payment term as immediate, so while creating the invoice you will be able to see under the payment term immediate by default, because you have selected in the common options available for invoices. Here you have to select the term date basis. You have 4 options: good receipt date, invoice receipt date, system date. What should be the pay date basis, discount date or due date. Whatever the date you are selecting here, the date will be counted on the basis of the option that you are selecting here. Accounting date basis, when the accounting of that invoice should be done, on the invoice date or the good received or invoice date, good received or system date, invoice date or system date. What should be the budget date basis, accounting date, invoice date, system date. Say I want to prevent the deletion of invoice attachments. So if once the invoice attachment is attached, then no user will be able to delete those attachments. In this way you can select the options here. Matching, allow final matching, allow matching distribution, override, transfer PO distribution, additional information. What should be the tolerances that you want to allow under the matching concept? You can select here. These are the options that you can select as per your business requirement. Whether you want to enable the invoice approval, if you want to create the interest invoices, then you have to enable this checkbox, and here you can provide the minimum interest amount, for which, say if you are selecting the minimum interest amount as 100 INR, then system will not create the interest invoice for the amount below 100. Here you have to provide the interest expense distribution. In my case, my client does not want that the interest invoice should be created in the application. Payment request, here you have to select the payment term, payment priority. Now click on save and close. Now go to manage payment options. Here also you can select the payment options as per the client's requirement. Allow payment date before the system date. Allow override of supply side bank account. Allow document category override. Allow payee override for third party payments. When the accounting for payment should be done at payment issue and clearing. Now click on save and close. So we have seen the common options which are available for payables and procurement, invoice options, payment options. Now our next task is we will see how to create the procurement agent. For creating the procurement agent, first we have to create the employee user, and after that you will be able to create the procurement agent setup for business unit. So we have already created the employee user. This Preet02 is the employee user. Now we have to provide this user the roles which are related to the procurement module. Go to the security console here. Click on edit icon. Now add the roles which are related to the procurement module. So for creating the procurement agent, the user should be the employee user, and we have to provide the employee role as well. Then buyer role. Then provide the the roles which are related to procurement module, procurement application administrator, procurement manager, procurement preparer, procurement requester, procurement catalog administrator, category manager, now click on done, then click on save and close. And now we have to provide the data access at business unit level for these users, for these roles. Go to setup and maintenance, go to manage data access for users, click on add icon, search for the username, search for the role here. Under the security context, select business unit, and then select the business unit that you have created. So we have provided the data access for all the rows which are related to procurement module. We are creating the procurement agent because without creating the procurement agent to your user, the user won't be able to create the supplier in the application. And for accounts payable module, you require to have supplier. Now click on done. Again you have to run the LDEP job. Submit. Now go to setup and maintenance. And then search for the task procurement agent. So we have created the user as employee user, and we have provided the rows which are related to procurement module to the user, and then we have provided the data access at business unit level. And now we have to search for the task, that is procurement agent. Under the scope, you have to select your business unit, which is already been selected here. Click on this task, that is manage procurement agents. Then click on this add icon. Search for your procurement BU. And under the agent, search for your user name. Here you have to select the functions which you can perform with this procurement view. This should be used for requisitions purpose. You can create the purchase orders, purchase agreements, negotiations, sourcing programs, catalog content, suppliers, manage supplier. You can see here. When you will enable this checkbox, then only this user will be able to create the supplier in the application for your business unit. That is the main concept of creating the procurement agent in the application. You can manage the supplier qualifications, approve supplier list entries, analyze spend, and in case you have any additional information you can mention here. Click on save and close. So this is our procurement agent and this is the procurement BU. Now we will see how to create the supplier in the application. For creating the supplier, your user should be the employee user, that user should be the procurement agent, and that user should have supplier manager role. So we have created our user as the employee user. Also now we have created that user as the procurement agent. Now we have to provide him the role of supplier manager, then only he will be able to create the supplier in the application. Go to the security console again. search for the user here, and we have to provide the supplier manager role to this user. Also, we will provide supplier administrator role to this user. Click on save and close. Then go to setup and maintenance, and we have to provide the data access to this user at business unit level for these roles. Run the LTIP job. So this process is already running in the background. Let's log in with the 302 user. Go to the home page here, and supplier related tasks you can find under the procurement module. For that you have to click on this procurement tab, and you can see here the supplier info rate is available. Click on this. Go to the task and then go to the register supplier, or also you can go to the create supplier task. Give the supplier name here. So only for practice purpose right now I am taking any supplier, any name here. Take it as spent, authorized, and the text organization type is corporation. And now click on create. So this is the general information, and here you can select the additional information. You can give the customer number here. So these are the information that one can fill as per the client's requirement. Here you can select the business classification. You can see These are the heads for the classifications. Then under the product and services, you can select the services which will be provided to you by this supplier. Let's take it as services. Let's say our client's marketing is done by this advertisement company. So basically it is providing us the services related to advertisement and marketing. Here you can select the transaction text detail. Here you can fill out the income tax detail. Say if you want to select the date range for any of the payment method, you can select from here. So by default, whenever you will create an invoice for this supplier, the payment method that by default will be displayed will be this check, because we have selected this payment method as default method. So in this way you can fill out the information as per the client's requirement, as per the data that will be provided to you by the client. Now here you have to create the address for this supplier. Here you can select the address purpose, ordering to, remit to, RFQ or bidding. Let's select this address for all three purposes. Here also you can select the inactive date. In case you know the inactive date of the supplier in advance, and you can select the date here, as this is not a mandatory field. Click on save and close. We have filled out all the mandatory fields for creating the address. Now click on submit. And let's wait for the approval notification here, then only you will be able to create the site. notification here. Supplier profile change request 102048 for DB advertisement company was approved, and you can see now you can create the site as well. The address that you have created, now you can associate that address in the address name. Here you can select the site purpose, purchasing, pay. Click on save here. And now you can see that all the tabs are available. Here you can give the general information. You can provide the information which is related to the purchasing, what should be the shipping method, communication method. Here if you are using the matching concept, then you can provide the information here, what should be the tolerance level that can be acceptable, you can provide here. You can select the invoice currency, payment currency here. This is not the mandatory fields, so you can select as per client requirement, or also you can let with the mandatory fields information. Again, these are the payments method, and you can make any of the payment method to be used as default method. These are the site assignments. Go to the contacts. Here you have to associate the address that you have created. And this is the person to whom you can contact on this address. Click on save and close. Click on submit. So this is the supplier that we have created. So in today's session we have discussed how to select the common option for payable and procurement, invoice options, payment options. Then we have seen how to create the procurement agent, then how to create the supplier, what are the roles that you have to provide for creating the procurement agent and supplier. Then we have created the supplier address, site. In tomorrow's session we will discuss the rest of the setups. Thank you so much for joining today's session.